All right, and welcome back to the final day of my little project of honest audition prep. Today, if you can see, the glare is really crazy from the windows. So we have a curtain. I doubt it will affect the sound much. And we also have two special surprise guests, my cats Pocky and Luke, who have chosen to join the filming process today. They are my harshest critics, so I hope I play well. For today's uh, final mouthpiece assessment, we're going back to the most personal mouthpiece I have in my collection. This is a Black Mazzio mouthpiece. Now, it's tough for me to really say I've had like an earnest and dedicated teacher in my career. A lot of what I've done has just been compiling a variety of sources, and there were a few people who were assigned teachers throughout college, but they didn't last long, or the overall relationship wasn't fully there in terms of playing the trombone. That's okay. But Carl Mazzio was the very first person I had as a teacher in my undergrad. He was the principal trombone of the Buffalo Philharmonic, having just finished his master's at Juilliard, and then freelancing for a few years before that and doing his undergrad at the San Francisco Conservatory of Music. He's an outstanding player. Really great guy, but developed focal dystonia and couldn't play. So when he was teaching me at Fredonia, that was his, I think, first year of fully quitting the orchestra and realizing he couldn't do the job anymore, which was hard for him. At that time, he only taught me for the year, and then he left Fredonia for a while because teaching for him was too emotionally difficult given that his career had just kind of imploded on, which I understand. Some years later, he went back to Fredonia and taught again for I think about a decade before tragically dying early of a stroke not too long ago. So I had one outstanding lesson with Carl where he brought me to one of the bigger rooms and told me that no matter what I do, I have to fill the space with sound. Came from a high school program where I was always told, you're playing too loud, you're playing too loud, you're playing too loud. So I focused on what I thought was being quiet and musical. And Carl was the first person to be like, no, like the industry standard, the orchestral standard, like you're not playing loud enough, actually. You really need to play up to the level you want to be at. And I hadn't realized that in my pre-collegiate musical life. I didn't have the exposure or the knowledge at the moment. Carl also gave me Joe Alessi's warm-up routine that Alessi had given him, and that's the basis for my own warm-up routine of the day. And as a final gesture, he gave me his own mouthpiece. This is the mouthpiece that he played on when he won the Buffalo Philharmonic Audition. This is the one he played on professionally, and yeah, he entrusted it to me. What can I say about this mouthpiece? It's very much in the style of an Alessi Black mouthpiece. It's maybe a little bit shallower. The rim isn't maybe as huge as Alessi's rims are, but it's in that vein. It's a pretty heavy piece, but it's nicely proportioned. I feel like it gets a really beautiful orchestral tone, and I look forward to this mock audition and then listening back and kind of seeing what I hear with this compared with some more modern options and recent options that I've been using. All right. So let's get to it. So it looks like I failed the cat jury. That's okay. Um, some final thoughts and impressions on this and the project overall. This mouthpiece, in a lot of ways, feels like home to me. It's where I learned all these excerpts. It's where I learned how to play with a bigger orchestral sound, and where I learned to make the choice to have that orchestral sound be kind of my backdrop for everything that I do. Um, the 1 and 2 lessons I had with Carl that were really great lessons that weren't wrapped up in psychology or anything else that was going on at the moment have really stuck with me and helped make me the musician I was. And it's sad that Carl's not here to help to continue helping the next generation have those great lessons as well. This has a beautiful orchestral sound for the Romantic literature, especially. Um, when I find that I have to articulate though or get more pointy, like especially on William Tell, like I can feel some old habits creep back in, and it makes me reflect on my time of learning them through this mouthpiece. Now, whether that's like mental association and muscle memory and kind of mental baggage on my part, or whether it's actually hard to kind of articulate physically through this mouthpiece, that's a question that's up in the air. I feel like at this stage of my life, it's more about the physical feel of the mouthpiece. It's just kind of hard to get that rapid fire in context. Like it just kind of it fluffs out at a certain point at a certain speed of articulation for me. That might be trainable, but the sound that this gives me though is one of my favorite orchestral sounds. I really enjoy playing with it. But just those little difficulties in the technique on some of the faster passages means it might not be the mouthpiece for me in this situation, depending on what the orchestral repertoire is and what I'm trying to get out of the process. Um, yeah, I'm curious to hear what other people think. And thoughts on the process overall. So, I like the mouthpiece I play on a lot, the Long Island Brass 550E. It's my favorite mouthpiece. It's my favorite sound. It matches what I hear in my head. You know, that standard thing that everybody says about their equipment when they're like a mouthpiece or instrument person. This finally lets me achieve the sound I hear in my head. The Long Island Brass 550E that I play on really does that for me. When I play solo literature, when I play faster virtuosic stuff that goes kind of beyond the orchestral literature, when I play extended techniques, that's the mouthpiece that works for me. But it's not a mouthpiece that's like kind of in the industry standard sound in the orchestral range of mouthpieces. Like it's just missing a little bit of like the square in the box nature. And I don't really mean that derogatory. I mean like every orchestra is a culture, and fitting into that culture is just as important as being a fantastic player. I've often found that when I go to auditions, which is pretty infrequent, that usually the people that can play trombone best in the room aren't at all guaranteed of winning if they even make it out of the first round. There's just a thing of like, you're not auditioning to be the best person in the room, you're auditioning to be the best fit for the orchestra you're playing for. Ideally, those two things coincide. Your natural spirit as a person, as a collaborative musician, as a leader if you're auditioning for a principal spot, matches what the orchestra needs. Not that you can play better than X player, but that you are the right person for the job. And the trombone job in orchestra is kind of like a specialist role. You're trying to fit into a very particular box. Like, you're not going to be the concert master. You're not even going to be like the principal clarinet or principal flute or principal cello. Like, all those really huge, beautiful, expressive solos that are on like every concert, you might get like once a season. The other 99% of the time that you're playing, it's in support, or it's with your section, or it's a blend with the brass. But you need to fill in a lot of variety, like niche roles, almost like an interior lineman on an NFL team, or like a fullback on a soccer team, like, or like a small forward on a basketball team. I talk about sports a lot, but you're there more of like in a support role with occasional moments of starting. So when I ask myself if the mouthpiece that I use for all my solo work, where I want to be like, hey, look at me, is that the appropriate sound for when I want to be in the orchestra, which isn't always, hey, look at me, but a lot more of the time it's like, look at them, don't pay attention to me playing. Yeah. And I've been finding that some other mouthpieces might fit that role better. Off the top of my head, I will probably take a look at the Lang 4.5, which, I mean, it's my name too, but with an E at the end, so how could I not? The Hammond Witzer. A lot of people love how that mouthpiece sounds on recordings. It sounds slightly different in person than on recordings, which is another factor to consider. And I'll also be taking another look at the Romero, the LI Brass Romero piece, which, having played that yesterday and played it for a few days, something about the articulation and the ping of it just felt super easy after spending 2 or 3 days on it. So I'll probably look at those 3 mouthpieces again. And the next time you see me do any sort of orchestral audition prep, if I do it again, it'll be with the pieces practice. So you don't have to listen to me like fumble through William Tell or like get the timing wrong on a rest in Tuba Mirum or something like that. It'll be like with the pieces worked up, not just working through them in like a mock audition once a day. Yeah, this has been a fun project. I hope that it's given you something to think about and something to consider when you go on your own mouthpiece journeys or audition journeys as well. And for now, I think that's been good. Now it's time to go focus up on some other projects. I'm still about, a month and a half, maybe 8 weeks, 7 weeks, something like that. I don't really know off the top of my head. From the audition that I've been like kind of thinking about taking, which is why I've been doing this project. So from now it'll be just a process of going back to square one with everything and like actually rehearsing all the excerpts the right way rather than just running through them and hoping for the best. And I'm looking forward to that side of the process as well. All right. I think I already said thank you, but again, thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. And like again, I hope it's given you something to learn and to think about. And bye for now.